Yay, are we live? Can you see us, people? Say hi. Yay! All right, wait, almost. I think we're live. Okay, cool. So welcome to Heal Profoundly and Enduringly. I am so excited to be with you guys today. This is our second, well, actually technically our third episode. The first one was kind of a sneak peek. So I am very excited to have Cassie MacKenzie here today. I'm going to introduce her in just a second, but for those of you who are not familiar with Heal, this is a show that is kind of like it's coming back in style, right? I started a show a couple of years ago and then put it on hold for a little bit because it wasn't aligned. And then I wanted to really, Spirit kept bringing forward to bring people deeper and deeper tools for their own healing, to really empower them to do this themselves. So this is about bringing forward all of those off the beaten pathways that you can heal at your deepest level. And we're going to give you tools in every single episode that you can also listen to on my podcast, the Akashic Musings podcast, to be able to implement right away. It's really important to me to have people have tangible tools. And Cassie's going to do that for us. Yay.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. She's a wealth and business mentor and an abundance activator, and she activates the crap out of abundance. I can say that.
Oh, totally.
She is, her wealth healings, teachings, and activations help you create more freedom, pleasure, and money in your business.
Yay!
And she hosts the Manifestation Queen podcast. So welcome, Cassie. Hi.
Thank you, Laura. I'm so excited to be here. This is so much fun. I love you and I love everything you do so naturally.
Thank you so much, love. It's just nice to hang out. And I want to know how to activate my inner abundance codes and my inner wealth codes. So could you help us out with like telling us what that even means, please?
Yeah, right.
Thanks.
So, well, thank you so much for letting me be here and inviting me on the show. I'm super excited. This is a great way to start the Monday and start the Monday, whatever that means.
Start the week on Monday. Yes.
It's a case of the Mondays, but in a good way, right? So, okay. Well, like you said, I'm a money and manifestation coach. And so do you like the hair flip? Most often like people come to me or come in my group and they like know a little bit about manifestation and all. And they, if you're anything like me, you just seek out all like the money manifestation things, like how can you make your life easier with more financial freedom and all of that. And so what I found is that a lot of people look outside of themselves for like the wealth or the money or like the circumstances that either make it or break it for them. You know what I mean? When it's not really that at all. Like you have it all within you. It just needs to be activated. And even after your abundance or your wealth has been activated inside of you, and you start to really like understand all the powers that are like flowing all around you that you can easily like tap into and get in alignment with in order to make it easier and easier and easier and easier. Like to me, some people just have known struggle all along with money, or they've known like pain and hurt and sadness, right? And associated that with it. I know you do a lot of healing, right? And so really money healing goes hand in hand with that, because a lot of times our money stories or our experience with it or our outlook on it comes from like a really either unhealed or hurt kind of perspective, right? And so my job is to make it easier and easier for you and to help you heal through that so that you can like really start attracting things to you intentionally, but also in a fun way. Like it doesn't have to feel like work. It can be more fun,
Well, that's what I was just going to say. That's what I love about what you do is that you're able to say like, let's not make this boring and serious. Like, of course we need to like heal shit. And of course we need to like dig up maybe some old stories and kind of shift those and access some of those codes that might've been hidden, but like, don't be hard on yourself. Don't make this a woe is me. Like, let's just have fun with it. Like, let's play through it. And that's what I love so much about your energy.
Yay. Thank you. Me too. Like, I'll tell you what, when I am not tapped into that, like playful, like fun energy, then my life like tanks spectacularly. Like I can definitely say that. You're like the look on your face. You're like, oh my God, where are you going with this?
Well, what's so funny is like, I kind of feel the same way. I think part of me too is like, oh shit, I better play more so my life doesn't tank, right? No, but it's a good reminder, because I honestly think what I was going to say earlier when you were asking about the healing, I was like, yeah, I feel like, you know, the wealth codes and the abundance is just a natural byproduct of the healing that I do with clients, right? But it's like, you know, there's the healing piece, but then there's also the accountability part. And it's holding people accountable to play and like to have fun. And so it's not just like, yeah, it's really fun to like enter a container with me and let's play and heal and all of that. But it's also like, I'm going to hold you accountable to play so that you can be preventive of anything that you don't desire to come into your life.
Right. And self-sabotage, right? Like, you know, like feeling there's so often what I see is people start to like understand the universal laws and apply them to their life. And they start to understand like how the energy of money works, right? And then they start to like unintentionally pinch themselves off because they feel so good and they're like having such amazing outcomes that they're like, something inside kicks in them that's like, this isn't safe. It's not safe for it to be this easy, you know? And so that's another part. Is like what I discovered, really like in some unconscious level, like I've always known, right? But like, and I think we all have always known this, but then you know how subconscious brain works, you know how like all of our the things we have to work through in life work. But like what I've started to notice is that like a lot of manifestation coaches who come out, or even like money coaches and things that come out, they focus so much on the part leading up to creating your desire, but then drop off at that point. And nobody that I've seen, well, a few of the really good ones I've seen actually after I started piecing this together for myself, but like start to say like, let's celebrate on the front end. You know what I mean? Let's make this more playful. Let's make this more celebratory. Like take the edge off of it, take all of the heaviness off of it so that you can normalize the celebration along the way. And then your body won't freak out once you're like having the biggest time of your life. Right.
Yeah, I totally feel that, because I know I was somebody for many, many years that I avoided looking at my bank account. And it's funny because I think that one of the reasons that I think some of that was scarcity, and some of it was because honestly, like I've been very successful. Like I just know that it's going to be there. And so that safety was there. So I always knew that I would have enough. But then there was also, I think, a bit of that scarcity piece too, because I would also feel like a little butthurt if it wasn't the amount that I like.
Right. You're like, how did I spend that much on myself? What?
Right. Exactly. Like if you think about it, like so what you were just talking about made me think about, yeah, now when I check my bank account, I'm like, this is an opportunity, right? Like it's an opportunity to create this relationship with money that I really do feel like is a relationship. And also to be able to like get me excited about next steps and like moving forward and allow me to tune in again to like my desire and where I wish to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Like stepping up even more over and over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah. Cause like what I noticed, you know, what I've noticed in clients is like pain manifesting once you've had so much success because you don't feel safe. And I used to have this too. I used to have like extraordinary, really bad, like lower back pain. And some of it was linked to, you know, like some like childhood traumas and things that had happened like growing up. That I actually was able to get healed. And that's a whole nother different like topic, but you would completely be down for that topic too.
Yeah.
But like, but outside of that, like now, once you start to look at your like upper limiting behaviors and like worrying and, you know, like kind of putting the damper, you're like literally the fire truck coming up and like watering down the fire that you've started, you know? And so like putting it out before it has time to like really take off on your life. So, but that takes a lot of, you know, you got to be willing to heal the things. You've got to be willing to take a look at it. And I was the same way with my bank account too, especially like when things are going like super, super well, you're like, oh yeah, let me go check that. That looks good. But like getting into coaching was the first time that I actually started to have, except for like when I wasn't working and I was pregnant and we had like just moved and just bought a house and done all, and I was like, I'm not going back to work until after like the baby's born and all that. But anyway, But since I got into coaching, like that was the first time that I had money like on our credit card, you know, and I was like, oh, what is this? What is this? This is not good. Because I'd always associated it with not being good, which also associates it with like, oh, you're not worthy of those expenses, you know? But like,
Yeah.
I did a live stream in my group about this the other day because I started to realize how much pressure a lot of people put on themselves when they're investing in themselves, whether you're a business owner or not, you know, like it's not free, you know? And so, and you know, you can get good stuff for free, but it's not going to be the transformation that you get if you really like go all in on yourself and all, but like, you know, it's
so funny. I literally just shared a post the other day to my story, and it was talking about like, it's awesome that you're taking the time and energy for yourself to watch the free things and to be part of it, but like actually pulling up a seat at the table of somebody who is doing this and like getting into their vortex and like really spending that time, really just exposing yourself to the vibration, if nothing else, right? I mean, that's not even talking about like the skills and the tactics and the connection, right? But like just being in their vibration is a completely different level entirely. And it really, truly is.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And I even fought that for a while because I was like, get in my vibe, like whatever. I've got my own vibe. It just happened to be lower than theirs. So that's probably why I was like wanting to get off there.
Right?
But you know, but not like you totally, everything's a vibration, like everything is. And so the more you allow yourself to get in those spaces of people who are up here, not, and I don't, when I say up here, I don't mean like they're making more money than you. They are holding like a higher vibration more consistently. The more you can like get in those spaces, then you normalize it for yourself and you see that it's safe and you see that it's, you know, just your new normal that always existed. It was always there. You just couldn't see it because you weren't fully on that same vibration to even notice it. You know, it's like, if a bear shits in the woods, does anybody hear it? Well, no, because there's no ears there, but like it still happened. It's still a big stinky pile there, but like.
Exactly. Well, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like some people, they get caught up in the woe is me mentality. Like, I don't have enough and, you know, I'm never going to get there. That's not possible for me. And these people are above me, you know, and it really is about choice, but it's also about safety, like you said. And I think that's why I personally believe that's why it's so important for us to do our healing work, whether it's around money or abundance of anything, abundance of love, abundance of health, with somebody else. Not because you can't do it, not because there's something wrong with you, but because when you have that established baseline of safety and consistency that's being delivered to you and shared with you, you can soar even bigger. Like you're going to get so much more transformation because you feel held. You know what I mean? Like you don't feel like you're out there. Your nervous system isn't all like, I'm trying to do this in the middle of nowhere.
Well, it's like going to Disney World by yourself versus going with your cousin who's an expert. Like, which one's gonna know like the fast tracking? Like, you know, like which one's gonna know like where to get the dinner reservations? Like, you want to like go to the person that's not gonna waste the most time. You know what I mean? Or like go put yourself in situations where you can like you know, collapse the time. But really, that means like you're not wasting as much time. You're gonna get more out of it more quickly, you know, and it comes with a price, but both sides come with a price. Like you can't get your time back. You can't like go buy more time. It's not a parking meter. Life is not a parking meter, people. Life is happening whether, you know, you are ready for it or not. And so, but you can make more money. You can make a lot more money. You can always bring it in. You can always be a match.
Yeah. So how does somebody open themselves up for that, for the abundance to flow to them?
Okay, so the first thing that I noticed that people, like the very first thing that you can start with, if you're not used to it, just take a look at where are you being grateful? You know, like what are the things that you're noticing in your life that you're already grateful for? Just specific, and this could be like, if we talk abundance, this could be love. Like if you're looking for a partner, I mean, I manifested my husband and he drives me crazy sometimes, but like most of the time he doesn't, right? So it's a success. I mean, we're all human. I drive him nuts too, and I love it. But like, you know,
I drive myself nuts, Cassie. So there's that, but go ahead.
No, and you still love yourself. Like
I do. I adore myself. Yes.
So, you know, like say it's love. say it's money. Like, I mean, I went through a really bad breakup when I was like in my mid 30s prior, and it was like horrible. And I was like, it was, I'd been divorced in my 20s and I'd been happily single for a long time. But anyway, like after this breakup, that's when I started getting serious about like loving things in my life and like not looking for what was missing, but looking for what was there and then expanding even further from there. So you can't expand into any more wealth or money or anything like that if you're not giving it space, right? If you're shrinking yourself down and constantly contracting yourself with money. And I said this in my group like a couple of weeks ago, but like I had this analogy. So if you're in my group, you've probably already heard this. I guess that's why I'm saying that, my angelic wealth frequencies group.
Yeah,
but,
if you can drop that link too at some point, Cassie, for that. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But go ahead. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, imagine yourself in a bubble and like the air represents money. You can either shrink yourself to make more space for money, which isn't really going to work and it's just going to limit what you can do, or you can expand your bubble out, like expand yourself in your comfort zone, which means taking sometimes scary actions. And I don't mean it has to be scary so that you create some fight or flight response or like make it like really dramatic or anything like that, but like something that you're just kind of like, ooh, well, that's new, like, oh, I'll join this mastermind. I don't know if I'll make the money back, but I'm pretty sure I'll get a transformation of some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so you go after what you want. Like you've got to honor your desires that you already have, and or else there's not going to be much space for them to start to make their way to you.
I love that so much. It's so funny that you said that too, because I just wrote that in an email that I sent out this morning about like following your desires. And I said to them, I was like, don't wait. And I've said this to my clients for, 20 years of being a therapist, which is like, don't wait until you're feeling it to do the thing that you want to do, right? Because if you wait until you're feeling it, it's never going to come. Emotions always come around last. You know what I mean? It's like you desire something, just choose it, make a decision and choose it. Whether that's investing in someone, whether that's going to like, put on your bathing suit and rock out in your front yard, whatever it is that you desire to do, start to take action toward it and choose it. Because that's what happens. People shrink when they're like, well, once I get to that level of confidence, that's what I'll do. Or once I get to this level, that's what I'll do. And it's like, but you're shrinking there. Like, just go meet it. You can do it. That's what the people with the wealth, and I'm going to ask you that question too, because I'm curious as to your perspective, but like, that's what the people with the wealth do. They take those risks. They take those stuff. I don't even want to say it's a risk, because I don't think it is a risk. I think it's actually trusting the universe and getting to a relationship with the universe that feels really, really healthy, honestly, and like a mutual exchange.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's a trust of yourself too.
Yes.
Like trusting your decisions, trusting that, what you're thinking, or trusting your intuition, like being in connection with your intuition enough to be able to take a step and know that it's right. Like you get the feeling in you that it's right. And that feeling is what, like, a yes or a no in your body. And you don't have to be a freaking generator in human design to know that, like, but like, there's so many facets to it, but like, the thing that I see the most is those people who are willing to like take quick action, and not quick action from a reckless place, but like a quick action that matches your desire. Like stop overthinking things. Like for the next week, just when you notice yourself overthinking things, look at what you're thinking about doing and just do it and see how it works out. Like take the action without having to like analyze it and create like a spreadsheet of what could go wrong. Like if you're looking at what's going to go wrong, then it's going to go wrong.
Well, and I think that's what threw me off so much, like early on. It's because I came from this like type A perfectionistic type of person, right? And now I'm a totally feminine flow hippie freak. I told my husband, I'm like, you married somebody totally different than I am now. Thanks for loving me through it. But yeah, I think that people can easily get stuck in, I can't. Right? I can't, or I don't know how. And they want to know the steps. And then they go to the people in their life and they say, okay, this is what I'm thinking of doing. And they get this rational feedback. And then it's like, right? And then it's like, but that does make sense. Like rationally, that makes sense. And so I remember when I first started working with the Akashic Records, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, this doesn't make logical sense, right? It doesn't fit into my box, you know? Yeah. And I am so freaking glad that it just kept knocking on my door and said, Laura, hello, because I was just like, no, that's not logical. And I think that's what people that they struggle with, because it's like, well, but this is logical. This makes sense. Like, these people have been, you know, my guiding light for most of my life, or this, that, or the other, or my confidant. And this is what they're telling me, and it's logical, but this is what I desire, you know? And then that dissonance comes up and they're like all confused and they don't know what to do.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because it goes against everything that they've known their whole life, you know, everything and everything that they've committed to. So it does take a lot to, like, you know, it can take a lot, or it can't take a lot, you know, like you could just get to that point where you're like, okay, enough is enough. I'm tired of my own BS. And like, I will do anything, even if it doesn't make sense. Like when you're ready to do things that don't make sense, you're on the right path.
Exactly. And would you say that that's the biggest difference between people who are wealthy and the people that struggle with money?
Yeah. So like the logic portion is exactly where I was going to go with that too. Like thinking in the realistic terms, thinking in, well, so-and-so told me this. And so like, and you know, it's a logical way to look at things. And you know, if you want illogical results in your life, if you want to be the person, the only one that you know that's living your dream life, then you can't listen to the people that are sitting there going to work from 9 to 5, hating their job, eating shitty food for lunch, and then wondering why they're fat at the end of the day, and then like, you know, telling you what you need to be doing with your life, when like there's clearly a better way to do that. You know what I mean? And eat the Doritos if you want the Doritos, but like, you know, I would say the logical part is definitely, that's the key, because, you know, we all fall into this. And I was like you growing up, like a totally type A. I'm still OCD about a few things. Like, you know, I don't barefoot in my own house. Are you kidding me? Like what? No way. But like, but at the same time, also like the times that I've made the most illogical decisions have ended up being the most fun. They've ended up being the most like, you know, like I've gotten the crazy thing to happen. Like even just meeting my husband, I moved across the country after getting laid off in San Diego with 2 dogs and a blow up doll that I'd named Bernard to sit in the front seat, because I didn't want people to think that I was alone driving across the country to move to San Diego. But I moved out there. I hadn't even applied for unemployment yet. Like I hadn't done any, I just literally within 2 weeks, I was out of Atlanta and I was back in San Diego. And I remember like, and that was right when I was like, okay, I'm manifesting my husband. Like I can feel it. And he's either going to be here or he's going to be there. And that's just where he's going to have to be. And you know, my husband's from South Africa. He was working on a yacht that there's no reason for him to be in San Diego. There's none. I had literally almost gotten arrested like right before meeting him. Like, I'm not even joking. That's another story for another time. It's on the podcast.
I have to hear that one, Cassie.
Yeah. It was like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, you know, like San Diego on a Saturday at a chili fest. I mean, what else, right? But like, but that's where I ended up meeting him. Like, it was crazy how it all worked out. But like a single person who's in her, I think it was like 35, like divorced 35-year-old with 2 dogs, like, what, you're going to go meet your soulmate and end up still having 2 kids? Like at that point, most people give up. They're like, oh, my life's over. There's no hope for me. But like, you know, things start happening when you do things in alignment, when you do things walking towards your desire instead of allowing the fear to take the wheel. Like, you know, it's amazing. And even this home, I swear, like was a diamond in the rough. I don't even know how we ended up buying it. I literally, like, it fell into place so easily. And it's across the street from a magnet school that we walk our son to school. You know what I mean? Like, we were talking about it this weekend. Like, what are the chances that we ended up with this, but we knew what we wanted? And I caught a whole lot of crap from my mom for moving here and moving away, but I had to, you know, it was just like one of those, I had to finally do what was right again for me, and it's been the best experience.
Yeah. And it's interesting because there's two things that come forward around that I've had experience with just from my own healing with chronic illness, right? Which is like, one, that idea of bossing up, like you were talking about earlier, like don't make the choices they're going to end up landing you in a place where you don't desire to be and then saying, oh my gosh, look where I landed, like it really put me in a position to really boss up and be like, stop putting everybody else first. I mean, a freaking bleeding heart social worker for 20 years. Are you kidding me? Like I put everybody else first.
Yeah.
It's like, putting yourself first, like feeding yourself nourishing foods, like boss up, Laura, don't eat the chocolate chip pancakes in the morning and then complain that your stomach hurts. You know what I mean? Like just stuff like that was like a big piece of it. And, I forget the other point I was going to make, but it'll come back to me. But yeah, it's just, I think it's really important for us to tune into our own vibration. You know what I mean? Like tune into our own vibe and what feels good and not allow like the naysayers or the people who are coming in and saying like, that doesn't make any sense, or you need to justify this to me kind of, and just say, no, I'm just going to leap. And the crazier you are with your leaps, honestly, the more successful you're going to be. And the more people are going to turn up their nose at you and make you think you're losing your mind. And so it's really about you being confident in that and knowing like, I love myself enough to like, trust my desires and to just go for it. So let me ask you a question. I know that you had something you wanted to offer us today to just kind of guide people through, to just like give us an idea of how we can start to like immerse ourselves into this like abundance vibe. Yeah. So are you cool with doing that now, or do you want to wait a few minutes?
Yeah, no, we can totally do it. Like, and I'm so glad you called it the abundance vibe, because a lot of people, when they've heard of like law of attraction and manifestation from an attraction point of view, but they don't understand that the attraction is not just what you focus on, but it's what you focus on with the intention and the vibration that matches what you're desiring. So a lot of people, because you've got all the power inside you and all the energy inside you to literally create like $1 million, like here. But if you are not vibrationally a match for it, or if you've never actually felt like the abundance that's inside of you or energy that's making its way to you and then an open channel for it, then like you can't become the vibration of it. Right. So, and I mean, talk about sounding like a woo-woo hippie. Like, I swear to God, I would, like a decade ago, I don't know if I'd be like, it is all of your vibration. I promise. Right. But I mean, I can't tiptoe around the tulips anymore. Like, this is the real deal, Holyfield. Like, this is where it's at.
Right. Well, and that's, before we jump into it, that was the other question I wanted to ask you too. It's like, can you tell, like, can you get a sense of which people can like have the vibe that they've already started to activate, like that they're ready to kind of start manifesting their desires more quickly than other people? Like, can you tell when you connect with someone?
Oh, totally. Yeah, absolutely. I can tell why some people struggle and others don't. It's just, some people are fighting it, right? Like they want it so badly that you go into this desperation and you start fighting it and you find all the reasons not to. And the ones that make it work quickly and the ones that I can tell are going to get like really amazing, results really, really fast are the ones that they're thinking about possibilities of like what could happen, but they're thinking about it like on a completely different scale. They're not wondering what could go wrong by spending, $500 on a course or whatever. They're saying, holy shit, like this means like, I can't wait to start it. I am so going all in, like, this is going to be a radical change for me. And I am going to like return it tenfold, like, if there's a completely different vibration going on there. One is allowing more to come and they don't need to know when or why or how. The others are like, I need to know all of this before I dive in. And that's thinking logically. Logic doesn't create magic. It creates people who sit there and do coding on the computer all the time. Right?
No, I know. I totally agree. I know. I'm just like thinking of some of those people in my life too. And it's just, you just want to send so much love their way, like so much love their direction, and just hold that space and that confidence that they'll be able to feel into this over time, because it's so liberating. I mean, it opens up a level of freedom and space, like you were talking about earlier, for abundance of all kinds.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's like, I tend to, like a lot of people tend to focus on money because it seems like the most elusive, or they seem like once they have money, then they can find love. But like I did the thing where like I moved to San Diego and I didn't have like a huge savings. I think that my salary was half of what it was the previous time I lived in San Diego. And that was before I got laid off, like literally went without a job. But I was like, no, this is working out. I'm doing this regardless. Like there's no way I'm moving from here. It's my favorite place in America. I don't live there anymore, I should say. I live in St. Pete Beach, but this is like better than San Diego. I just don't want secret to get out.
You don't want everybody flooding there. Exactly. All right, love. So let's take a moment.
Okay.
Let's guide people through a meditation and just bring on the love.
Yeah, this will be really great for starting your day and starting your week. And then, think about some of the things that you truly desire. And you don't think about how you're going to make it or how it's going to come to you, but just like allow the idea to be like in your field, your energy field while you're doing this.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you guys are ready, you could go ahead and close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. So you can breathe in. Breathe out. And as you're sitting there, I want you to imagine you're going to ground yourself. So imagine you've got the roots coming out from the base of your spine and the base of your bum, as my husband would call it, all the way down into the ground, moving their way through the soil, down through the rocks, all the way through, slowly reaching down and anchoring you, grounding your energy. And as they make their way all the way through to the center of the earth and wrapping themselves around the core, so you feel strong and stable. And imagine as that energy comes up through your feet, just follow it as it moves all the way up through your body up to your head. And then around about 6 to 12 feet above your head, imagine you've got bright white beam of light that shines down onto the crown of your head. It might be tingly and warm. And as it moves down through your head, through your neck, like through the chakras, through your heart, all the way down to your root, and into your legs, to your feet. So it's literally balancing both of those energies. So take a few deep breaths. Feeling calm, but also enlightened, right? So, and as you take a few deep breaths, breathe in through your nose. You can breathe out any sort of doubts or anxieties or stress that you might have carried into this. Breathe that out through your mouth. And I want you to drop down into your heart space. And as you're there, imagine that it starts to open up like a flower, opening up wider and wider, your chest, like your heart space opening up and expanding, like out from your ribs, expanding open further than you've allowed it before. Now that you're fully open, remember I had said to start thinking about those desires that you have. Maybe the ones that seem like they've just been a lot harder than they need to be. And as you're doing that, there's energy that will start coming through into your chest. Every time you breathe in, I want you to breathe in the energy into your heart space and allow it to completely light up every inch and corner of your heart space. Keeping it open. Every time you breathe, breathe in the energy into your heart. Breathe out through your mouth. You can breathe out any of those doubts, just not creating any room for those anymore. You're just allowing room for the energy of abundance to come in, breathing out your doubts, disbeliefs, any sort of logical need to be logical. You can let that shit go too. Let's just breathe that out. And start to feel that with every breath that comes in, you can feel it start to move its way through your body. Maybe it starts moving down your arms into your hands, your fingers. Your fingers are getting warmer. And then the next breath, breathe in through your heart and allow that energy to go up into your head. That's probably been overthinking a lot of things, but it doesn't need to be. So allow that abundance energy to go up into your head, moving around, calming your head, because it's not your head that creates your, manifest your desires. It'll be your heart. And then the next breath, allow it to travel down through your torso into your womb space and any other areas that might be feeling constricted. Just allow them to naturally open, like your solar plexus, your intuition that's down there in your gut feelings, your womb space down into your root, allowing the next breath to go straight down to your root space, which will be all that surface area you're sitting on, if you're new to it. So this will create the safety, security, stability. Let's swirl around. And your next breath, just intentionally send the energy down into your legs. Take a few more deep breaths. Feel the buzzing in you, all the abundance. You've made so much more space and cleared out the cobwebs. And allow yourself, if you've been having trouble taking action, focus on the abundance energy coming through your chest. Send it down to like your hips and your legs to take the steps that you need to do to get you where you want to be. So take a few more deep breaths through your heart, allowing this energy to continue to come circulate through your body. Make sure you have a smile on your face. We don't need to be serious all the time, but we tend to be. So set the intention that you intend to create your desires with as much fun and ease as possible and potentially happening for you. And then on the next deep breath, allow that energy in, and I want you to envision closing that heart space off. Allow that flower to just start to close again, but it's going to be wider this time. So there's going to be, it's going to kind of fold over itself, but you've created so much space in your heart that you'll feel expanded, holding that energy in you and allowing it to stay. So in the next couple of deep breaths, when you're ready, thank your guides, thank universe, thank God. Facilitating. You can open your eyes when you're ready.
Thank you, friend.
You're welcome.
That was yummy.
Was it? You like it?
I was forgetting things to say before I started this, and now I'm like totally in the zone. You know what's really interesting too? And those of you who are here live, let us know how you're feeling. So I was holding my wealth manifestation mudra. I use mudras when I meditate. I love them. For those of you who don't know, it basically means sign, seal, or gesture. And it basically creates like an energetic circuit with your fingers so that it can, you're basically recirculating your own energy and building momentum within yourself. So I had this on both sides. And what was funny was like my left one kept falling apart. And I was like, that's really interesting to me, because I know like when I'm teaching like my mastermind clients about like wealth and magnetism and masculine and feminine energy balancing, I use the hands a lot. Yeah. So I was like, this is really interesting to me, because I'm like, the left side of your body is feminine energy. So I'm like, there's something about my feminine energy that wasn't feeling aligned, but then by the end of meditation, it was nice and strong.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like it.
So I love that, because I was just like, oh my gosh, this keeps falling off. Like it just kept like popping open. And I was like, what's going on? And it was just so cool, because it kind of brought me back into balance. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so excited.
That's
Yay.
so exciting. Yay. So tell us, I have one question for you before we close up. And that is, what would you say is the one primary thing that we need in order to heal profoundly and enduringly?
An open mind. That's what I would say, because, like you have to allow patience with yourself, but also like that open mind. Like, I think a lot of people get, like they get caught in this trap of thinking that the healing is only going to be done once, and once it's done, and we're all like fixed, right? And so, but all of this work, even manifestation work, even money work, even wealth work, has to be revisited often. It's like working out. You can't just like stop taking my 20-minute walks every day and then expect to not feel like an orca whale sitting on the couch and being like, wait, what's my problem? My pants are tighter, and I feel like every time I go run after my kids, I'm like that big Groot character that's just like, like just physically heavier, just like not as easy to move your energy, like that kind of, that's my example. But like, yeah, like having an open mind just allows you to see new perspectives, but also it allows you to give yourself a lot more grace in the process too. So, but it also allows for more illogical results. I was teaching my money course the other day, and it was this part where we do like literally like design your next level, and like what does it look like, what are the actions, who are you at that level, and like get it set in stone. And so someone said, oh, the struggle is real, right? Like I'm one who always says the struggle is real. I'm like, it's actually, yeah, but the struggle is really so real. Like you think it's so real, you think it is, but it's just another, like you could be imagining your outcome in a different direction. It doesn't have to, like dream lives are surreal, but so, so is like the struggle, like it can go both ways. So, but
like what do you choose to tap into?
Yeah. So,
and you allowed us to tap into abundance today. So thank you. This was a great step for people who are just starting to work with this, or feeling like, oh my gosh, I was so good for so long, but then I got not. I mean, that's happened to me for sure. When I had like my biggest money month, and then I was like,
Yeah. What happened?
Paralyzed temporarily.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think it was just my nervous system, like, and because that's the other thing, like patience with yourself, like don't judge yourself for that. We're all wired in a certain way, not only because of ourselves, but from our ancestry, from even past
Mhm.
lives, like other experiences that we've had that, if you get stung by a bee and I get stung by a bee and we react totally differently, it doesn't mean that one of us is wrong. It just means
Yeah.
that it's bringing information into our awareness about how our nervous system is operating. And we get to listen to that. When you have that open mind and you're willing to listen to those messages that come from your body, that come from your emotions and your patterns, then you can do something with it and not stay on the struggle bus.
Yeah. And it's funny because like I see it so much in like family members and things, especially like, that's in the day and age that we're in right now, and it's, I see certain reactions that used to be the same reactions I would have, like certain patterns and, and like, it's almost like on one hand, I'm like, well, why can't they just see this? Like it doesn't have to be like that. But then on the other hand, it's like, oh my God, well, look how far I've come. Like that used to be how I would react too. And I can't expect them to be where I am right now if they haven't done the work to get there. But it doesn't make it hurt any less either. Like even at this level, not this level, but you know what I mean? Like you're still a human. It's still like
right, exactly. It doesn't mean we're exempt from those human experiences. I mean, that's why we're here, to have them, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a journey, guys. Just keep up with the work
You
and
need to be patient
notice
with
who
yourself.
you're getting your advice from. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
If you're new to
yeah.
this, notice who, and even if you're old at it, like, I mean, I dipped back more times than God, I swear, like even last year, like this time last year, I went through this other cycle where I was listening to somebody who was completely unaligned with what I thought was the truth that I'd always known. And so it was another lesson. I mean, you take it all as a lesson because I'm like, okay, I can teach my clients, I can show my clients too, like this, from your own experiences, you can really help to
Right. And it's so funny that you said that, because it totally came back around to that other point that I forgot to make earlier.
Oh,
See, look how this happens. I always know it'll show up if it's meant to, right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that I've learned just with chronic illness too, like with my own healing, that people will ask me, so certain people will ask me, how I got to this point or that point or whatever. And so I'll share it with them and it's like, oh, well, I'm too old for that. Right. Like I'm too old. And I'm like, that's fascinating because like, in my medical program that I was a part of, there's an 82-year-old in that program, and 86-year-olds that have been in that program. And it's like, just like you were saying earlier, it's never too late to be, and it's never too late to realign, to bring yourself back to what you said earlier, which is what you already have within you, what's existed there all along. And it's just a choice to reactivate it. And it's a story that as you get older, you lose options, or this is what happens, or whatever. That's just not accurate.
Yeah, no, I would say you get more options, but if you've really done the work and along the way, then you can tell which ones are the options that are going to get you, to your result faster too, like energetically, like there's always the opportunity. Like to me, what's the downside in knowing how to manage your energy and manage your anxiety even more going forward? Like I was a pharmaceutical rep for 20 years and I would go in there and be sitting there at lunch, like waiting for the doctor to come back to talk to me, like about the product or whatever I was selling. And I would like just see people walking by with like bags of medication, it's just putting a band-aid on the internal problem, you know what I mean? And so it's crazy now to be on this side of it, because I'm like, there's so much you can prevent, like, and who's to say, like, what's the downside in being an 80-year-old with less anxiety than the normal, like.
And that's exactly one of the main reasons why I switched over to doing the healing work too, from traditional therapy. It's just like, prevention. Like, let's get ahead of this. It's like I used to go speak on eating disorders in high schools. Then it was middle schools. Then it was elementary schools, kept getting earlier and earlier and earlier to stay ahead of what's coming forward, for people that they were vulnerable to, you know? And so thank you so much for being part of this today and like helping educate people in this area so that they can be preventive and really set themselves on a path like towards their desires, and that you have permission to do so no matter where you are in your life.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. In fact, it's encouraged. It's expected.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's change our expectations, right?
Yeah.
So what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, Cassie? If they have questions or just like kind of want to connect and say, I really love your vibe and I want to get more guidance on this.
Yeah, for sure. You can find me here on Facebook or on Instagram at XO Cassie MacKenzie. I have a group called Angelic Wealth Frequencies. You can expect a lot of like wealth training, money training, and I mean like energetic wealth. I have a lot of fun things coming at the end, you'd think this is the time to slow down, but no, I'm deciding to be like, hey, how about all of this to set you up for a great 2022? So there's, you could come check out some of the things I've got going on over there. And I have the Manifestation Queen podcast too. So there's some new episodes coming there as well.
Oh, fun. Yay. Yeah, I highly encourage you guys join her group because you'll really get to know Cassie better. Like she does a lot of, and I love your style is casual and informal and very connected. Like it's very personal. Like you feel like you're having a conversation with Cassie when she goes live. So definitely check that out and just get to know her better and scoop up all of her goodness that she offers for free in that space. And then, so good. So thank you for being here so much. This was wonderful. And thank you to all of those who are joining live or on the replay or on the podcast. And we will see you very, very soon.
Thank you. Bye.